Hunting is good for the soul. I was raised in the tradition of hunting that has been passed down through generations. My forefathers hunted to survive. Even though I hunt for sport, I eat what I harvest. Medical research has shown that game is the original organic meat. As a society, we need to understand that food does not come from the grocer. All elements by which we survive, animal and vegetable, come from a process of birth, life, and death, the cycle of life. The vast majority of Americans support legal hunting. A recent nationwide telephone survey of Americans over 18 years of age, 94% of them supported the right to hunt, and 74% approved the practice of taking game by hunting. Hunting is always good.
Bring it here, buddy.
Harvesting is variable.
Here, boy.
Sometimes the most memorable hunts don't end up putting meat in the freezer. There is nothing comparable to crawling out of a warm sleeping bag in the middle of the night, gulping down some hot coffee, and hitting the trail in the dark to an area where we are so privileged to see the world wake up as the sun rises. It's a time to be in harmony with the world and realize that we are but a very small piece. That's soul-soothing. A hunter has reverence for the order of the universe when he or she witnesses a meadow or a hillside come alive at the break of dawn. The crescendo of silence except for animal sounds and the thrill of being a part of nature is something unforgettable and almost inexplicable. Elk seen in the gray of early morning never failed to send shivers down my spine, whether I ever raised my rifle or not. Have you ever watched a turkey strut and fan and heard him gobble? Or had your cover blown by an old guard hen before the gobblers come into proper shooting range, and then watched in awe as the entire flock flies over the hill and into cover? Why, you'd surely agree that spectacle is better theater than anything on Broadway. There's nothing that can explain reveling in the music of a bugling elk while watching steam come out of his mouth on a frosty morning. That's part of the experience of hunting. Hunting brings us back to our history and our roots. The Pilgrims eked out a living by sweat equity and perseverance. They understood that in order to live, they had to raise crops of edibles, harvest wild nuts and berries, and either harvest game or kill some of the livestock they raised. They understood the cycle of life as a simple matter of surviving or not. They also understood the need to manage game populations. In 1646, Rhode Island decreed that no deer would be taken in the colony from May 1st to November 1st to allow fawns to be born and reared. Our hunting seasons today are based on modern scientific tools used by wildlife managers and biologists to ensure that hunters take from the excess of game and leave viable populations for tomorrow. Regulated hunting has never resulted in the extinction of a species. Whether I harvest or not, hunting is still a special time with family and friends. It's being away from the office with only the sun and the stars to tell time, away from traffic jams and out of the urban buzz that so many of us live in. It's meaningful visits around a campfire. It's exercise that requires no gym or equipment other than what's on my back. It's pitting my wits and experience against the weather, the mountains, and the wildlife. It is the thrill of the chase. It's about forging a bond with sons and daughters that includes opportunities for lessons in ethics, safety, outdoorsmanship, appreciation for nature, and just good, clean fun. Hunting keeps me connected to nature and ever aware of the cycle of life. Hunters are the original conservationists. In the 1930s, hunters worked in Congress to pass the Pittman-Robertson Act, whereby an 11% excise tax on the sale of firearms, ammunition, and hunting and archery equipment goes to state wildlife agencies for wildlife management. That's not just for big game, waterfowl, and upland birds like quail and pheasants. That money benefits all wildlife, including wildlife for which there is no hunting season. If you enjoy seeing wildlife in Arizona, thank a hunter. Part of the Apache culture of a successful hunt includes a prayer of blessing for and from the animal for sharing his life and the meat with us. When I'm fortunate enough to harvest an animal, then the work begins. One of the responsibilities of hunting is proper care and cleaning of the animal so that meat is not wasted nor lost. It's also part of the pride in being able to put quality meat on the table and share with family and friends. Some may try to convince you that in order to save nature, it must be preserved, meaning hands off and observing it from afar. A hunter knows better. Nothing in nature ever remains the same. My love for nature comes from my connection to it and from being a part of the cycle of life. For example, in 1900, there were less than 500,000 white-tailed deer nationwide. Today, thanks to hunters' contributions and dedicated state wildlife managers, there are more than 30 million white-tailed deer in the U.S. Before I take a calculated clean shot, I know that because of the efforts of my fellow hunters and conservation-minded sportsmen before us, there will be game to hunt next year and the next and the next. I'm part of the cycle of life. I'm ever close to the land and the animals I pursue. The traditions of hunts past are relived in fond memories. Hunting is good for the soul, good for the land, and good for the wildlife.